With the investigation into the death of Gene Hackman and his wife, authorities have offered a new timeline about when she died, which could play a role in where Hackman's fortune goes.
Gene Hackman's passing has sparked a maelstrom of legal, emotional, and cultural debates as details emerge about the fate of his reputed $80 million estate. The legendary actor, whose career spanned decades, and whose performances in films like The French Connection and Unforgiven remain iconic, made a final statement about his legacy that has left many perplexed. His will, drawn up decades ago and last updated in 2005, shockingly names his wife, Betsy Arakawa Hackman, as the sole beneficiary of his fortune, with no explicit provision for his 3 children from his first marriage. This decision has raised a host of questions not only about family dynamics and personal relationships, but also about the complexities of estate planning for public figures who have navigated multiple chapters in their personal lives. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The intricate web of Hackman's personal history plays a significant role in understanding this unexpected turn of events. Gene Hackman, who was married to Faye Maltese from 1956 until their divorce in 1986, is the father of 3 adult children, Christopher, Elizabeth, and Leslie. Reports indicate that the relationship between the actor and his children was strained during his earlier years, largely because of the demands and unpredictability of a career in Hollywood. Over time, there were signs of reconciliation and attempts at bridging the gap that had formed, yet the final legal documents did not reflect an inclusion of his offspring. Instead, the testamentary instruments reflect a deep level of trust in his second wife, Betsy Arakawa, a classical pianist with whom he had forged a profound and enduring connection since their marriage in 1991. The fact that Hackman chose to channel his entire estate into a trust for his wife has left many pondering whether personal reconciliation was ever sufficient to override long-standing familial estrangement, or whether this decision was a deliberate measure to protect his privacy and control over his legacy. The circumstances surrounding the deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa add another layer of complexity to the inheritance saga. Both were found deceased in their Santa Fe, New Mexico residence, though the timeline of their passing has proved to be pivotal in the unfolding legal drama. Authorities confirmed that Hackman succumbed to complications from heart disease and advanced Alzheimer's disease, while Betsy Arakawa's death was attributed to a rare rodent-borne illness, hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. Remarkably, Betsy is believed to have died about a week before Hackman. This narrow temporal gap has triggered the activation of a clause in her will, stating that if the couple died within 90 days of each other, her assets should be redirected to charity. Such provisions, designed to handle the potential uncertainties inherent in the death of both spouses in close succession, now stand at the center of heated legal debates. With Betsy's premature death, the intended beneficiary of Hackman's estate, as outlined in his will, becomes a moving target subject to contestation under intestate succession laws and the specifics of the trust arrangements. Court filings and legal analyses suggest that while Hackman's will clearly states that his entire estate was to pass to Betsy, the unexpected twist of her earlier death leaves room for his children to assert their rights as his most immediate living heirs, a contention that legal experts have begun to scrutinize carefully. In the immediate aftermath of their deaths, the estate's future has become a topic of fervent speculation among legal circles and the public alike. Prominent legal voices have weighed in on the matter, noting that the intricacies of probate law could, under certain circumstances, allow Hackman's children to lay claim to at least a portion of the fortune. Some experts argue that since Betsy died before Hackman, a sequence that was not anticipated by the actor when he finalized his estate plan, the estate might be subject to default rules of intestate succession. Under these laws, if a designated beneficiary predeceases the testator, the estate may then be distributed to the next of kin. However, the situation is far from straightforward. Detailed examinations of the wills, trust documents, and relevant state laws reveal that Hackman's case is entangled with provisions that were intentionally designed to preserve the privacy and wishes of both spouses. For instance, the pour-over will structure and the living trust set up by Hackman have long been used by high net worth individuals to shield the details of their asset distribution from public scrutiny. Legal analysts have emphasized that such instruments are commonly used to protect privacy, avoid lengthy probate disputes, and ensure that a person's estate is handled in a way that aligns with their final wishes, even if those wishes are later contested by family members. Amid the swirling debates, the public's reaction has been a mix of empathy for the estranged children and criticism of Hackman's final decision. Many media outlets have highlighted the irony of a celebrated actor, known for his commanding performances and larger-than-life screen presence, leaving behind an estate that seems to echo the troubled personal relationships he once struggled with. Some commentators have noted that Hackman's decision might have been influenced by a desire to protect the privacy and integrity of his carefully curated personal life, a life in which he increasingly found solace in the companionship of Betsy Arakawa. Others have pointed to the long-standing estrangement that existed between Hackman and his children, suggesting that his decision was a reflection of personal disillusionment rather than a calculated financial strategy. Social media platforms and online forums have buzzed with discussions and debates, with some fans lamenting the apparent oversight, while others argue that the actor was within his rights to determine how his estate was distributed. The legal implications of the situation are significant and far-reaching. If Hackman's children decide to contest the will, they face the daunting challenge of overturning a decades-old document that was crafted during a period when Hackman was reportedly of sound mind and had explicitly chosen to leave everything to his wife. Legal experts, including attorneys specializing in trust and estate planning, have noted that challenging such a will in court can be an arduous and protracted process, often fraught with unpredictable outcomes. The children's potential legal battles could hinge on proving that Hackman's decision was either the product of diminished capacity, undue influence, or a failure to account for the familial obligations traditionally expected in matters of inheritance. However, given the sophisticated nature of modern estate planning, it is not uncommon for wealthy individuals to adopt strategies that prioritize privacy and controlled distribution over conventional family expectations. In this context, Hackman's legal team and the appointed representatives of his estate have already moved to protect the details of the trust and the circumstances surrounding the deaths, as evidenced by petitions to seal autopsy reports and related investigative materials. These measures underscore the family's long-standing commitment to maintaining a discreet personal life, even in death. The financial stakes involved in this inheritance battle are enormous, with reports suggesting that Hackman's fortune exceeds $80 million and that his Santa Fe residence alone is valued at several $1,000,000. The potential windfall for the children could be substantial. The Santa Fe property, which has been described as a sprawling estate on 12 acres of land, represents not only a financial asset, but also a symbol of the lifestyle and choices that Hackman embraced in his later years. The property, which he had painstakingly renovated into a private retreat far removed from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, now stands as a silent testament to the actor's final years and the complexities of his personal relationships. Should the children succeed in their legal challenge, they might not only gain access to liquid assets, but also to real estate and other holdings that were part of Hackman's carefully managed portfolio. Underlying the legal and financial debates are deeper questions about legacy and memory. For many, the issue transcends mere monetary concerns and touches on the broader implications of how public figures manage the interplay between their private lives and public legacies. Hackman's decision to leave his estate solely to Betsy Arakawa, excluding his children, invites reflections on the nature of familial bonds, the responsibilities of parents, and the ways in which personal estrangements can come to define one's final wishes. In a society where family is often seen as the cornerstone of one's legacy, the exclusion of direct descendants from such a vast fortune can seem both radical and poignant. Some observers have speculated that Hackman may have viewed the financial independence of his children as something they needed to achieve on their own, rather than relying on a windfall that could potentially undermine their self-sufficiency. Others see the decision as a final expression of the complicated and perhaps unresolved tensions that marked his relationship with his offspring, a relationship that, despite moments of reconciliation, never fully healed the wounds of past neglect. Beyond the immediate legal controversies, The case has ignited broader discussions about the nature of estate planning in modern society. High net worth individuals often employ sophisticated legal instruments to manage their wealth, and the use of living trusts and pour-over wills is now a common strategy aimed at minimizing public exposure and reducing probate costs. Hackman's estate plan, meticulously crafted over decades, reflects these modern approaches to wealth management. The actor's decision to designate his wife as the sole beneficiary of his estate, with the expectation that she would manage the trust until a later point, demonstrates a level of confidence in his personal judgment and the legal mechanisms available to protect his privacy. Yet, when personal tragedy disrupts the expected sequence of events, as it did with Betsy's untimely death, the rigid structures of legal documentation can become sources of intense dispute and reinterpretation. In such scenarios, the interplay between statutory laws on intestate succession and the specific provisions outlined in a will becomes the battleground upon which family legacies are contested. The story of Gene Hackman's estate also serves as a cautionary tale for celebrities and other public figures about the importance of regularly reviewing and updating legal documents to reflect changing personal circumstances. Hackman's will, last updated in 2005, may have been perfectly suited to his situation at the time. Yet the unforeseen events surrounding his wife's death have created a legal gray area that now demands resolution in the courts. For many in the public eye, the pressure to maintain privacy and control over personal affairs can lead to decisions that, while legally sound, may not align with conventional expectations of family responsibility. The Hackman case underscores the reality that even the most carefully planned estate arrangements are vulnerable to the unpredictable nature of life and death. It serves as a reminder that the interplay between personal relationships and legal structures is often fraught with challenges, particularly when those relationships are as complex and storied as those in the life of a Hollywood icon. The ensuing legal battle, if it materializes, promises to be a protracted and emotionally charged affair. Reports indicate that Christopher Hackman has already engaged a prominent California trust and estate attorney, signaling that a challenge to the will is on the horizon. Such legal contests can become long drawn-out affairs, replete with court hearings, mediation sessions, and public scrutiny. For the children, the decision to challenge their father's final wishes is not merely a matter of monetary gain. It is an assertion of their identity and a claim to a legacy that, despite years of estrangement, remains inextricably linked to their family history. The legal process itself, with its intricate examinations of testamentary intent, contractual language, and statutory interpretation, will likely force a re-examination of the relationship between Hackman and his children, a relationship that was, by many accounts, marked by both distance and eventual reconciliation. In challenging the will, the children are not only seeking financial redress, but are also attempting to reclaim a piece of their father's legacy that they feel was unjustly denied. Public sentiment surrounding the case is polarized, with some expressing sympathy for the children's plight and others supporting Hackman's apparent final wishes. In media interviews and op-ed pieces, commentators have debated whether the actor's decision was a fair reflection of his personal life or a misguided attempt to control the narrative of his legacy even after death. While some believe that the children have a rightful claim to a share of the estate, citing the natural expectation that a parent's assets should be passed on to their offspring, others argue that Hackman's clearly documented intentions should be honored without question. The public debate extends beyond the specifics of this case to touch on broader themes of parental responsibility, the ethics of inheritance, and the nature of generational wealth in contemporary society. In many ways, the dispute over Hackman's fortune serves as a microcosm of the larger cultural conversation about what it means to leave a legacy in a world where personal relationships are as much a part of one's public persona as professional achievements. Amid all the legal maneuvering and public debate, the personal toll of the situation cannot be overlooked. For a family that has long been marked by estrangement, the prospect of reopening old wounds in a courtroom is a painful one. The emotional ramifications of contesting a will, particularly one that involves a famous figure whose life was defined by both triumphs and personal shortcomings, are profound. The process of challenging such a document forces the involved parties to confront decades-old grievances, unresolved resentments, and the inevitable reality that money can neither heal old wounds nor bridge the emotional gaps left by years of separation. The Hackman case thus becomes not only a legal battle over millions of dollars, but also a struggle for closure. A final attempt by a family to come to terms with a legacy that is as much about personal memory as it is about financial assets. The physical setting of the dispute also carries symbolic weight. The Santa Fe home, where both Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa spent their final years, and where their bodies were discovered alongside a beloved pet, is a powerful reminder of the life the couple built away from the prying eyes of Hollywood. This secluded retreat, set on a sprawling 12-acre property, embodies the couple's commitment to privacy and their desire for a peaceful, unassuming existence in their later years. The home, now valued at millions of dollars, stands as a tangible manifestation of the choices they made, a deliberate move away from the public limelight in favor of a quieter, more reflective life. For the children, this property is not only a financial asset, but also a piece of their father's personal history. A history that is now being re-examined in the context of his final wishes. As the legal process unfolds, the future of Hackman's estate remains uncertain. The complexities of probate law, compounded by the unique circumstances of the couple's deaths, and the intricate provisions contained in both of their wills, mean that the final outcome could hinge on nuanced interpretations of legal language and state-specific statutes. Should the children succeed in their challenge, it is possible that the estate could be redistributed in a manner that deviates significantly from Hackman's original intentions. Conversely, a court ruling in favor of the existing documents could reaffirm the primacy of individual testamentary freedom, even when that freedom appears to run counter to conventional family expectations. Legal experts caution that any decision reached in this case will have implications not only for the Hackman family, but also for the broader community of high-net-worth individuals who rely on sophisticated estate planning instruments to manage their legacies. Beyond the immediate legal and financial ramifications, the controversy surrounding Hackman's will invites broader reflection on the evolving nature of family, legacy, and personal accountability in modern society. In an era marked by rapidly changing social norms and increasing skepticism about traditional family structures, the question of who deserves to inherit a fortune takes on new dimensions. For some, the idea that a parent might deliberately exclude their children from a vast estate is emblematic of a larger cultural shift towards valuing individual autonomy and self-reliance over collective familial obligation. For others, it is a stark reminder of the ways in which personal failings, whether real or perceived, can have lasting consequences long after one's public career has ended. Gene Hackman's decision, whatever its underlying rationale, thus serves as a provocative case study in the complexities of modern inheritance, challenging both legal professionals and the public to reconsider the values that underpin our understanding of family and legacy. In many respects, the saga of Gene Hackman's estate is a story about the enduring tension between personal desire and social expectation. The actor's life was defined by his relentless pursuit of excellence on screen, yet his final act in life raises questions about the responsibilities that come with great wealth and fame. By choosing to leave his fortune to his wife and by extension to a carefully constructed trust, Hackman appears to have prioritized a vision of legacy that is rooted in personal choice rather than traditional familial duty. This decision, controversial as it may be, reflects a broader trend among many public figures who seek to control the narrative of their lives even in death. It is a poignant reminder that the legacies of those who achieve greatness on the public stage are often complicated by the very human imperfections that make them relatable in the first place. The unfolding legal battle over Hackman's estate is likely to be watched closely by both the media and those who specialize in estate planning. For legal professionals, it represents a fascinating challenge that tests the boundaries of established laws and the interpretations of testamentary intent. For the public, it is a dramatic unfolding of a story that combines elements of celebrity intrigue, familial strife, and the stark realities of modern probate law. Whatever the eventual outcome, the case promises to leave a lasting imprint on the discourse surrounding celebrity estates, raising important questions about how best to balance individual rights with familial obligations in an increasingly complex legal landscape. As discussions continue and legal proceedings move forward, the Hackman estate stands as a powerful symbol of both the allure and the perils of wealth. The sheer scale of the fortune involved, combined with the intricacies of modern estate planning, means that the final resolution of this dispute will likely have repercussions far beyond the confines of one family. It will serve as a reference point for future cases, shaping the way that high net worth individuals approach the daunting task of planning for their own legacies. For those who have long admired Gene Hackman's work on screen, the legal wrangling over his estate offers a stark reminder that the decisions made in life, no matter how carefully planned, can take on unforeseen complexities in death. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Gene Hackman's children being left out of his will? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.